I've lived in Austin for 20 years, and for those 20 years, everything was on my shoulders. I have 3 girls, April and Autumn and Ariana. So Ariana and April lives with me. April's 27, she has Down syndrome, so she was born with this genetic condition. She has learning disability, intellectual disability. She's legally blind. What brought me to Austin was I left an abusive relationship, and I thought that a bigger city would give them more opportunity. We moved into Safe Place. They helped us get on our feet. They provided temporary housing in the women's shelter, and then we were provided an apartment, but we eventually had to get out and get our own place. We were in a 3-bedroom apartment, but it was super small. We were right next to each other all the time, and we had lived there for 5 years. My children, of course, have probably gone through more adversity and more who knows in the neighborhoods and peers, and just seeing what they've seen, just the things that go along with being in a bad neighborhood.
I moved to the Austin area in 2005. I was a sheriff deputy. I did that for about 8 years. I came pursuing a career. It was something I was passionate about, and I did it for many years. Then I got hurt at work. So not only am I unable to work physically, I was having to recover from a really bad surgery. It's just a difficult process going through workers' comp. And your employer's like, I need you to perform these duties that you're unable to perform. So I ended up getting laid off. My son's 13 right now. He's such an easy kid. In elementary school, we realized he had dyslexia. When he made it to middle school, he got into a 3-year program for kids with dyslexia. Not all the schools have that program. The apartment complex right next to the school, it was about $1,500 for a 1-bedroom. But do you pick the school or do you pick the neighborhood? If we were to the left, we were in one school. If we were to the right of the road, we were at a different school. You don't really have very many choices out there for apartments.
We were unhappy living. I had 2 adult daughters, 1 baby, so it's just us between these 4 walls, driving each other crazy.
Since I've moved to Austin, I've had to live in at least 6 different places. It's hard to stay in the same place because they keep raising your rent.
I'd heard about Habitat before and thought, I'm gonna check it out. So, I'm gonna see if I qualify. So I went to the orientation. I was like, hey, I qualify according to what I just heard.
I finally reached out to Habitat in July of 2019. And after talking to Jessica Benitez, a few days later, she reached out and she said, what do you think about Mueller? And I told my mom about it, and she said, yes. She said, why are you even thinking about it? I said, okay.
So I made an appointment with a counselor. Everything was just looking good. And so they say yes, and it's celebrate. And it brought so much hope into my life.
When I applied, I was worried because I hadn't been in my job very long. I think I'd been there maybe 6-7 months. I was like, well, no one's gonna give me a loan. I haven't been working but 6 months. I got pre-approved the next day, and they said I could start working on my equity hours. I needed to complete 200 hours. I knocked it out in 11 weeks, on top of already working my 40+ hours at work.
I closed, and I got the key, and I was just on top of the world. We moved in on April 16th of this year, 2021, and I cannot tell you how much peace I feel. I know that my daughter feels it as well. My granddaughter feels it. I almost feel like I've had my guard up for 20 years and I've just been able to exhale.
My son is super excited. When he saw the house for the first time, he already had plans for which bedroom was gonna be his, who he was gonna be friends with, what they were gonna do at the park. We live a little bit more peaceful. I could tell you that I could pay my mortgage in one check compared to the extra amount of work I was having to put in. I don't think the donors, when they give the money, I don't think they have an idea of how they've affected all of us here.
Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You've changed lives. You've changed generations.